What's up everyone? In today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys how to make chocolate covered strawberries for Valentine's Day in a new series I'm starting on my channel where I show you guys how to make different desserts. To start off, I'm going to be separating the strawberries that I think have the best shape out of all of the boxes that I bought and putting them to the side. Once I've done that, I'm going to go back and inspect all of them and look at the shape to make sure they aren't too squishy or have anything gross that I wouldn't want to be eating. For best results when making a box of these strawberries, you want all of your berries to be roughly the same size. Strawberries vary a lot, so you can always have a top row with bigger berries and a bottom one with smaller. Next, I'm putting my strawberries in a colander, and in the sink I'm going to be rinsing them off. I'm also going to use my hand just to lift the leaves in case there's any dirt in there. Once I've thoroughly washed my berries, I'm placing them on some paper towels and drying them off. This step is crucial because if you do not dry them well, the chocolate will not stick to the berries, so make sure you do not skip out on this part. Here I'm now separating 6 berries that are about the same size to all go together in one box. To dip my berries, I use Ghirardelli's dark and white chocolate melting wafers. I find this to be really good, and I just melt it in a glass cup, but make sure you can stick a strawberry in without it touching the sides. I melt my chocolate in 2 30-second sessions, stirring in between. The first time, the chocolate will still have its shape, and the second time, it should be pretty smooth. I don't add any oils or anything. It's a great consistency just as it is. To dip the berry, I put a wooden skewer in the back of my strawberry to help me hold the leaves back. Then I dip my strawberry straight into my chocolate and I move it side to side if it isn't completely covered. Once I pull it out, I shake the strawberry, and this takes a while just to get all of the chocolate off. The reason I use a skewer is because all of the shaking can rip the leaves off, so this is pretty helpful. I also scrape some chocolate off of the back of the berry, not a lot, just a little, so there isn't a huge puddle when I leave it to dry on my silicone mat. If you don't have a silicone mat, you can also use parchment paper, but silicone mats are great because they're reusable. So I place my berry down and I try to adjust it so that you can't see the bottom of the chocolate where it's sitting. And if your berry's unbalanced, you might want to hold it there for a little bit until the base dries a little bit. On this berry, I didn't like how much of the bottom is sticking out, even though it's not a lot. So before it dried, I took a skewer and just cleaned it up a little bit. Up next is my pink berry, and here I'm going to use a candy coloring to make my white chocolate pink. Candy color is a oil-based food coloring, whereas gel and liquid ones are water-based. You cannot mix the water-based ones with the oils of the chocolate. It'll seize up the chocolate, it gets really thick, it won't be smooth. You can use a little gel food coloring with some oil, but it will leave the chocolate spotty, and too much will make it seize. I will say candy color is a bit expensive, so you can always find already colored chocolate wafers, but I personally don't like candy melts. Next up, I'm mixing some dark and white chocolate together to make a light brown in order to make the nose of my teddy bear. I put the light brown chocolate into a plastic bag, cut a hole, and now I'm making oval shapes that I'm going to fill in with the chocolate. And then I'm going in with a toothpick in order to smoothen it out and create the shape I want. I'm doing this by going in up and down motions, and then when I pull out the toothpick, I'm doing this little swirl because I don't want a little bump when I take it out. Now I'm going ahead and grabbing my chocolate strawberries, and I'm just seeing which one of these little brown ovals I want to be the nose for which strawberry. For the heart-shaped nose, I am taking a drop of pink and creating a heart shape with a toothpick, and I did this onto each of my brown ovals and used this as the nose of my teddy bear. For the ears of my teddy bear, I'm using Hershey Kisses, so I'm unwrapping those here and I'm going to stick them onto the top of my berries. I'm going to use dark chocolate as glue because I don't want you to be able to see it if it moves around. So I'm putting a little stripe on. Here I put too much to the front, so I'm just scooping that back with a toothpick, and then I'm going to stick that on to the top of my berry, and I'm going to hold it there until it's completely dry because I don't want it to move or fall off later. I then went ahead and stuck the other ear on, and then using the chocolate again as glue, I stuck the nose onto the middle lower portion of my strawberry. Whenever you're gluing something onto the strawberry, always use the chocolate that's the base color. With this nose, some of it actually leaked out, which wouldn't really matter, but I still wiped it off, but since it was the same color, it's not even noticeable. For the eyes of the teddy bear, I'm using black gel food coloring, and here you're going to see what happens when you use gel food coloring. You're going to see how this chocolate is now super thick, it is not smooth. So what I ended up doing is just popping this in the microwave for 15 seconds, because part of it is that it's dried out now. But since this is just the eyes, I don't mind if it's chunky, which is why I was willing to use the gel food coloring for this portion of the decorating. Now I'm adding pink stripes to my white berries. For best stripe results, put your chocolate in a bag and make a very small cut. Personally, I think smaller lines look more professional. You also want to make sure you have continuous pressure so that there aren't gaps in the chocolate coming out. You also want to move your hand fast so that the chocolate lines are straight and don't come out in a more ribbon or curvy shape. My hand ended up blocking the view, but I made these pink hearts by kind of making a V shape of chocolate and then arranging it with a toothpick. However, I didn't end up liking what the pink heart looked like, so later I switched it out and put white hearts in instead, and I like what that looks like a lot better. For the pink berry, I'm using these pearl sprinkles and using a toothpick to put chocolate onto the sprinkle to stick it onto the berry. You can also just put these on when the berry is still wet, but I like to pick exactly where I want to put the sprinkle. I bought this heart-shaped box from Target and I'm filling it up with some white shredded paper, and I'm going to put the berries inside of a white cupcake liner just to hold it up from the white shredded paper. And here I am putting the berry into the cupcake liner. And when you place this into the paper, sometimes it doesn't want to stay up. They can be a bit heavy. So what I do is just dig a little hole into the shredded paper and place my berry right there, and then it will sit nicely and stay in its spot. Now all that's left to do is arrange the rest of the berries into the box and you're done. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up so that more people can find it, and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!